Hello, guys. Welcome back to In Our Experience, the podcast where we talk about self improvement within the context of relationships. Today, we're talking about media, probably our favorite TV shows, least favorite TV shows, and then also social media. So let's dive right in. I wanted to ask you what your favorite movie or TV show is, Amanda.
Yes, and I have an ongoing list on my phone, so I was just gonna read some names and then Narelle, I don't know how many of these you're aware of
Okay.
or if you have thoughts on many of them, but we can see what you recognize. So I made this a while ago though. I don't know if my feelings have changed about any of them, but the first movie I listed is Elf because it's probably my favorite holiday movie.
Cute.
And have you seen it?
Mm-mm. I don't like comedies.
Norel! You need to see Elf. It's hilarious. Do you like Will Ferrell in anything?
No, I don't think
Nothing?
he's funny.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I feel like people fall into like two camps. They either like hate Will Ferrell or they really like him. I don't like his like more crude stuff, but I think he's really funny in general. And I just like the concept of like being an alien almost, just like plopped into regular life and like what regular life looks like to people who just aren't familiar with it at all. Like I always think of like what would it be like if I brought someone from like the 1700s into like my bedroom and like they followed me around all day? Like what would they say about things? How would they react to things? It's kind of like that cuz I mean, do you know the basic premise of it?
And Elf comes to real life.
It's about like an elf who grows up with other elves and Santa Claus is like in charge of all the elves making their gifts and stuff every year. But then he realizes he's actually a human who just got like I think he like got left in Santa's like gift bag or something. I don't know. Somehow he ended up like the bag that
As a
Santa
child?
like yeah, like as an infant. I think Santa like went to an orphanage and like he crawled into his like bag or something like that. Anyway, he got like kidnapped by accident and so he grew up around elves and thought he was an elf, and then he eventually realizes that he actually is a human
He
and
was
his
too
dad,
tall.
yeah, he was really tall, taller than everyone else and didn't know how to make gifts very well, and it turned out that his dad was on the naughty list, and so he decides to take a trip to New York to find his dad, and it's kind of about like their relationship and like him realizing where he came from and coming to terms with like who he actually is. And I just think
That's
it's really
cute.
funny. Yeah. Otherwise, I liked Easy A with Emma Stone,
I haven't seen it.
Amanda Bynes. Um, it's about like it's based on the Scarlet Letter kind of. Did you read that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she like I think there's like a rumor that started about how she lost her virginity to like some random guy or something. And she starts like trying to help people I don't know, like preserve their reputations by like acting like she does stuff with them and then they tell everyone that she did stuff with them, but she didn't actually do anything with them. Anyway, it's just funny. It's another comedy. And then Bridesmaids, another comedy. So you probably don't like
Yeah,
some of
I
these.
was no.
Mean Girls, Amelie, which is a French movie. That one's super quirky. I love it. Um,
I feel like French films are usually quirky.
yeah, it's about this girl who like kind of decides that she's just going to improve everyone's life around her. And so she just finds ways to like improve everyone's life and do nice things for them. Um, Brooklyn, it's about like an Irish immigrant. That one was really cute. The Devil Wears Prada, Princess Diaries, Crazy Stupid Love, Stranger Than Fiction, another Will Ferrell movie, but like a serious
Wait, are
one.
these just movies you like, or are these your favorite movies?
these are like my favorite movies. I mean, I'm sure I could shorten the list, but these are all like movies I've really
Wow.
enjoyed. Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, like Jane Austen movies.
Mhm.
Coraline, I liked that one. The Sound of Music, Harry Potter, really obsessed with Harry Potter. Fantastic Mr. Fox. The Holidays, another cute like holiday movie. I guess that's probably not one of my favorite movies, but I was thinking of like favorite holiday movies. Matilda, I really liked that movie as a kid. Lady
Yeah, I
Bird,
like that movie.
yeah. Booksmart is cute. Clueless, another classic. I also like Good Will Hunting. I know that's your favorite movie. Um, Such a good movie. Yes. I like Get Out. I guess that's probably not one of my favorite movies, but it's like one of my favorite like psychological thrillers
Mhm.
slash
Me
horror
too.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Gone Girl a lot. I actually just got that book. I'm planning on reading it. So far so good. Barbie, I absolutely loved. Um, Parasite was interesting. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society.
That's fun. I've not heard
Um,
of that.
it's cute. It's kind of like a rom. Well, it's not really a rom-com, but it's like I don't
Drama.
know. Yeah, a drama, but it's about like a marriage that falls apart, or like a potential marriage that falls apart. And she's a writer, and like someone, what happens? I think someone mails her a book or something that they found that she like donated, and they're asking if she has like these other books, and it's like some guy who lives on this like island, and she ends up like going there and visiting him, like falling in love and realizing that she doesn't want the life she has, and she wants to just like live a simple life and be a writer, but not like,
Well, that's very classic
yeah.
plotline.
It's cute though. 10 Things I Hate About You. I really like that
Another
movie.
classic. Mhm.
Love it. Very cute. Bend It Like Beckham. It's like a soccer movie kind of. Everything Everywhere All at Once I thought was interesting, but I don't know if it's one of my favorite movies. Yeah, I don't know if
I
it's one of my
hated it.
favorite movies. I want to re. You hated it? I
Yeah.
didn't hate it.
Thought it
I
was
didn't.
trash.
Okay. I thought like the hot dog world was a bit much.
Super odd.
That
I
part
hate
I was
when
like,
like people are like when movies have scenes that are like weird for the sake of being weird. And I feel like
yeah.
that was one of them.
Yeah, I didn't like that scene because I was just like, what does this mean? Like, this is uncomfortable. I don't know.
I think I just went into it thinking that it was going to be about something different than it was because I thought it was going to be like an interesting like philosophical sort of commentary on like the very concept of everything everywhere all at once, like how you whether or not you can live multiple lives within one lifetime and like how one small decision that you make can like really change the rest of your life and like that kind of thing. And it was, in my opinion, just about like a relationship between a daughter and a mother, especially like the immigrant relationship. And I was just like, I didn't like it at all. I didn't resonate with that.
Well, I guess I didn't like resonate with the immigrant story per se, but I think it was also about like how one small decision can change the course of your life. But it was a bit more like obtuse than I hoped it would be. Like it was, I had like smoked some weed before I watched it, so I feel like I was like, what is going on? And so I was like, I'm gonna rewatch it, and I think I'll like it more once I rewatch it because I think I just like couldn't understand anything. But maybe it just like didn't make sense. That's possible. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was entertaining though. Um, Almost done. I'm thinking of ending things. It's a movie on
Hated it.
Netflix. You saw it? You hated it?
Wait, if it's what I'm thinking of,
It's kind
is
of a
it?
random
Tell me what
movie.
it's about. Tell me what it's.
Um, it's like about, it's pretty abstract. It's like,
Okay, yeah, it's the one I'm thinking of. Hated it. No
what
plot.
even, what even was it about? Now I'm trying to think, like, what
Exactly.
was it
No
about?
plot.
No,
It was
okay.
just like very odd.
It was like this couple, and she's like realizing that she like doesn't want to be with him anymore, kind of. Like, she's thinking of ending the relationship, and they go to his parents' home. It is bizarre, though. It's kind of like Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it's like, what is going on? Um
So now we're beginning to see a pattern. I don't like movies like
But
that.
it was like okay, but it was like it was so symbolic. It was just so thought-provoking. I was like, "What is going on?" And I kind of related to, like, the idea, like, I don't know, the horrible, like, sinking feeling you have when you realize you might have to end something, you know? I don't know. Um, Poor Things I really liked.
That
Um,
was good, yeah.
yeah. The Holdovers was also cute. I like Challengers. You liked Challengers too.
I love Challengers, yeah.
I really liked the music and Challengers. About Time is one of my favorite like rom-coms. Legally Blonde, classic. Um, and then I was just thinking about this movie called Fair Play that has Phoebe Dynevor in it. It's like a Netflix movie. It's about like this couple and they both work in finance and her fiance, they're like engaged, but no one knows that they're together. And her fiance is like supposed to get this promotion and she's super happy for him. And it's like fairy tale romance. Like my fiance is going to get a promotion and we both have these super great jobs, blah, blah, blah. But then it turns out that he's actually not going to get the promotion. She's going to get the promotion. And like he's actually like kind of shitty at his job and she's like really amazing at her job. And the
Mm.
way that it like turns the whole dynamic upside down is insane, but also so relatable because it's like I feel like a lot of women are very supportive of like their partner's careers if their partner is excelling, but then like if it's the other way around, I don't know, like a lot of guys I feel like want to be superior professionally to their partner. And so just like since going to law school and like becoming a professional, I felt like it was kind of relatable in that way. So I added it somewhat recently, but yeah.
Yeah, that would be really difficult to navigate in a relationship, I think.
But like should it be? That's what I'm saying.
I think it makes sense because the association with being a provider financially for men is like really strong. And I think the same way that women typically feel when they're like going through a breakup or like losing a romantic relationship or a friendship is the way that men feel about like losing their job. And so it's just like very inextricably tied to how they see their identity.
I mean I know like why men get upset about those sorts of things. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that it's valid. Like, I don't think that it should be that different. Like, I think no matter your gender, you should be supportive either way of like whoever gets a promotion or whatever. But it is hard
Well,
when like,
yeah, it's definitely not ideal. It just makes
yeah,
sense.
it is hard when like one person sucks at their job though, and like you have the same job and you're good at it because then it creates this sense of like competition. So I think that would be tough, like, no matter what. But I just thought it was, like, really representative of, like, gender dynamics and, like, how toxic they can be, and yeah. So I like all
Yeah.
those movies for different reasons, and they're all different kinds of
That's an
movies.
interesting premise. I feel like some of the ones you mentioned are, like, nostalgic kinda vibes, and then
Mhm.
some of them are just, like, kinda cute, and then some of them you claim are thought-provoking even though they aren't thought-provoking, and they're
They
just bizarre.
are. They're bizarre.
It's like when you think a man is, like, fascinating because you don't understand him, and then you realize there's nothing to understand and he's an idiot. That's what Everything Everywhere All at Once was. Um,
That's fair. Yeah, that's definitely happened to me before, where I'm just like, "I just can't figure you out. You must be so
yeah.
deep." And then it's like, "No, they're
No,
just
no,
stupid."
sweetie. There's just nothing going on
There's nothing
upstairs.
there. That's why you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
There's nothing to figure
No, 100%.
out.
And then I think some of the ones you mentioned too are just, like, funny to you. We
It's
certainly don't
me.
have the same list. The the overlap obviously would be Good
Okay.
Will Hunting, um, and I
Yeah.
really like 10 Things I Hate About You too, but I love Heath Ledger, rest in peace.
Yeah. He's super charming in that movie, but charming might be the wrong word. He's kind of, like, insane, but
Yeah, he was alluring, maybe?
I don't know. Yeah, the
Um,
acting was just so good. They just had good chemistry. It was cute.
yeah, yeah, agreed. My favorite movie, as you mentioned, is Good Will Hunting. I hadn't thought about favorite holiday movies, but my favorite holiday movie is White Christmas. Which is like really old, but I watch it every year with my family. And I actually plan on getting my wedding dress, God willing, um, from God willing about the relationship, not about the wedding dress. I've already found a woman to make it. From like based on White Christmas. So that's fun. I just have like a good association with it, and the soundtrack is really cute. Like thinking about drinking hot cocoa with my family and like blah 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 growing up. So that's one of the reasons why I really like that movie. And then my favorite like childhood movie is Beauty and the Beast. I have a Beauty and the Beast tattoo and I have a Good Will Hunting tattoo. And for Beauty and the Beast, Belle was always just like the Disney princess that I identified with the most. This was pre-Tiana, mind you. But yeah, that but Belle is the one that I always identify with the most. She's like a reader and she's like feels kind of different than everyone else in her town because of like that, like her intellectuality and quote unquote depth. It's kind of how I felt when I was younger, I guess. And she also is very like brave and family oriented and all of those things. But the tattoo that I have is chapter 3 and it's just from the part of the song like Belle where she says, "Here's where she meets Prince Charming, but she doesn't discover that it's him till chapter 3." Basically just talking about how, like, you never know what role people are gonna play in your life. Like, it could just be some random person, and then next thing you know, like, they're the love of your life kinda thing. So, yeah, those are my favorites. Good Will Hunting, I think, is my favorite just because the acting is so ridiculously good, and, like, the plot, and Robin Williams obviously, like, stands out. Also, rest in peace. What's going on with celebrities? But yeah, and then my sister always jokes that I built the foundation of my type off of, Will Hunting, so do with that what you will.
I'm like forgetting. I know I really liked that movie, but I'm forgetting the plot of it because I think I only saw it once and I was just like, gotta put it on the list, but then I never watched it again.
For Good
Um,
Will Hunting?
yeah.
Oh,
It's like a
it's just about
genius guy, right?
yeah. Yeah, it's like a working class guy, he's like a janitor, but he's a genius, and he's working in, like, Harvard or something as the janitor, and the teacher puts up on, like, the board this really difficult math problem. And it's like, if anyone can solve this by the end of the like semester, like blah blah blah. And Will comes in and he like solves it immediately, like after hours. And the teacher sees that it's him and he's like, no touching the board, this is for actual students. But then he realizes that it's correct. And yeah, just about like him navigating, like being so smart, but also like wanting to be still connected with his roots and his friends who are like not necessarily in that level of like quote unquote book smart, but they're like super loyal and he cares more about them than he does about like getting some high fancy job at some like company or with the federal government, like the NSA that he doesn't care about at all. And then he has a relationship with a woman um throughout too, and they have, like, kind of a complicated relationship because of his upbringing where, like, he didn't have any brothers or sisters, and he lost both of his parents too.
I feel like wasn't it based on was one of them like was it Ben Affleck or Matt Damon wrote it at like Harvard or something for a class? I
Yeah,
wonder if it was based on like their
yeah,
lives.
and then obviously there's Robin. I didn't think that, but I don't know, but obviously there's Robin Williams' character too, like, connecting with who he actually is instead of this, like, front that he puts on about, like, being super cocky and intellectual and the smartest one in the room. Um
Oh.
And yeah, it's just such a delight, like, the ending is such a delight because of the way that he, like, comes to understand himself or whatever, like, that's my Good Will Hunting tattoo, Had to See About a Girl, the last, like, line in the movie, and then I also always really liked this discussion that he has about how, like, I think he says, like, Mozart could always just play the piano, like, came to him naturally, like it was like a gift, and that's how he felt about math. And so I always thought it was interesting to think about like what are the things you could always just play? Like it's like more than a talent. It's like a gift that you something that you're so good at that you like just completely stand out from everybody else. So I think there's a lot of depth to it. Character development is crazy, acting, life altering. Really stellar. Really, really a stellar flick. Did you have a favorite Disney princess?
Um, I also really liked Beauty and the Beast, actually. Did you like the version with Emma Watson or no?
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I like the original, but I thought it was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I thought it was cute, I think, but I'm not sure if I like loved it. I don't know. I'll have to watch it again. Um, Otherwise, I was never like super into Disney, to be honest. I don't
What were you
think.
into?
Like as a kid,
Yeah.
I watched a lot of SpongeBob,
Oh, okay.
iCarly, like Nickelodeon, Drake and Josh. Um, yeah, I guess I watched a lot of Disney Channel, to be honest.
As you know, I didn't grow up with the TV, so I
I
mostly
know.
watched VHS.
We did have a lot of like videos that we would play and like I guess yeah, is that what it's called? VHS. I don't even remember how it works.
Yeah.
But
You remember when Netflix used to have DVDs?
kinda, yeah. I feel like I remember one of my favorite things to do as a kid was to go to the DVD store. Like that's what I called it, but it was actually Blockbuster. And now they don't have any blockbusters, but I would like go with my dad and we'd be like trying to pick out movies, like a movie that my mom would like. So we'd find some like
Hmm.
weird, obscure, like foreign film because for some reason that's what I thought she liked. I guess she does to some extent. Like she likes some quirky movies, but yeah, that was like one of my favorite things to do. And now everything's on streaming and laptops and nothing's real. So
You still go to the movies a lot.
I'm like one of the only people apparently. No. I mean, I think some people still go to the theater, but I'm trying to like keep the tradition alive because I have such good memories from the movie theater. I feel like it's so nostalgic. Just like, I don't know. It's so comforting. It's like my happy place. Popcorn and like
Mm,
candy and a dark room where no one can see you. It's perfect. No, but like
right. A
yeah.
dungeon.
Yeah. No, I just feel like it's so much easier to like escape into another world when like you're in that atmosphere as opposed to just like playing something like in the background when you're like doing chores in your room, you know?
Yeah, my when I was going through my breakup, I used to go to the movie theater a lot because I like wanted to be left alone and I wanted to like be in the dark. Like I didn't want to be in like a lit place, but I also wanted to be around other people. And even if I was like tuning out the movie, it was just like a nice third space to be able to be in. And then yeah, like if you can escape into the movie, that's even better. It was one of the main things that I did with my dad growing up, speaking of nostalgia too,
Mm.
because he really likes movies. And even now when a like movie comes out, like especially like Mission Impossible or something like that, we always try to go and see it together and it's fun.
Yeah, I've been doing this thing where I think it's like one Monday every month. There's like a secret movie at the movie theater near my house. So you just like show up and you don't know what movie it's going to be until it starts playing. And then it's like a movie that hasn't been released yet. Um, and I think so far, like every single movie we've seen has been really good. So it's been interesting. But yeah, for some reason, I've always really gravitated towards movie theaters and I really like analyzing like movies and TV shows. Oh, we didn't get into our favorite TV shows. Do you have any favorites?
Uh Criminal Minds and The Blacklist. are my favorite TV shows. I like Propaganda in general, which is just any TV show that where the cops always look good. Um, but those definitely like those definitely are favorites. And then or at the very least, those are the ones that I watch the most. Like I usually have them in the background when I'm working or sleeping, but then I have to go back because I didn't watch any of it because obviously I was asleep. I like things with a ton of seasons, potentially hot take. I hate limited series and think they should be abolished. Um, and I think they should be both abolished and defunded. And I think that, so anyway, I like pretty much anything where there's like a case like a Grey's Anatomy or Criminal Minds, like they're individual cases, but like you actually care about the people. So you don't have to watch everything. You can like fall asleep and wake up and it's still like the same vibe. But my favorite TV show of all time is One Tree Hill. Kind of a teeny bopper show, but I watched it during like a really difficult time of my life in it's either high school or the very beginning of college where I was, like, really depressed, and I feel like it helped me, like, tune out the rest of the world and just, like, really lock into it and fall in love with the characters and laugh, and so I started watching it whenever I had, like, big transitions, like, when I first moved to Austin and I had no friends and I was really lonely, I, like, watched it as well. When I moved to UCLA and I had no friends, I watched it, and I was going through a breakup, I watched it as well. And so I feel like it has, like, a very special place in my heart, not just because of, like, what it is as like, the content of the film, but also because of, like, what I associate it with, like, just helping me through difficult times in my life. What about you?
I started watching One Tree Hill because you liked it so much and I was curious.
Oh my god, yay!
It was cute. Um, yeah. I think we were talking about, like, which character we would be, right? Or you said you identified with Peyton or something?
Yeah, love Peyton, plan on getting a tattoo from her initial statement in the TV show, which is, first of all, "You don't know me," and second of all, "You don't know me." Which is very in line with high school
Yeah.
angsty me. It's honestly in line with me now. I say, first of all, you don't know me all the time because do you? But, it also, like, really aligns with angsty high school me, so did you say something? I don't recall this conversation.
Did I say who I was most similar to? I think you were speculating, but I hadn't,
Yeah.
like, watched it enough. I don't know what you said. Do you
Oh,
remember? Probably not Peyton.
I don't remember either. Maybe Haley?
Yeah, probably. If I were to pick one, I don't
Or
really know
maybe I'm
why.
just saying that because you have the same haircut.
I mean, I forget what her personality's like. She's, like, really into, like, school, right? Like, doing
Yeah,
a good
she's just
job.
kind of, like, nice and creative, and she's, like, really, really into school and, like, kind of shy, but then as time progresses, she becomes less so. She also marries the star of the high school basketball team, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah, they get married when they're, like, 12.
No, they're in high school. Yes.
Yeah, I was
Whatever,
exaggerating.
17.
But he has, like, his own apartment somehow. Yeah,
Yeah, he's emancipated.
probably. That would make sense. But my favorite shows, I liked Sherlock. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I like that too.
Sex Education, I thought was really cute and good.
I
Um,
haven't seen that, but I've been told to watch it. Do you think I
I
would
think
like it?
yeah, I think you would like it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, I feel like it talks about, like, the dynamics of relationships and, like, figuring out your sexuality and, like, how you relate to, like, other people. It's kind of like a coming of age sort of story, I would say, but yeah, I
Okay.
liked it.
Cool. Yeah, I like sex education, but I didn't know if
It's
it
about
was
well, yeah,
about that or not.
it's literally about that as well, yeah. So, like, how, like, high schoolers are just clueless, and this one guy's mom is a therapist, and, like, she and him start, like, teaching people about sex and, like, other stuff, so, yeah. Vampire Diaries, loved it. Um,
Oh,
Mindhunter,
yes.
Yeah, The Office I liked, but not all of it. I didn't like the first season, and I only liked it until Michael Scott left, and then after that I stopped watching. But I'm not like a cult fan like some people are, where they're
Mhm.
like they've memorized every episode and they watch it every day. I'm just like, okay, I don't like it that much, but like it's good. Parks and Rec, I really liked, maybe even more than The Office.
Okay.
It was funny. I like Amy Poehler. And what's his name? That other guy who has the big mustache. You don't know any
No
actors?
idea, but I like Amy Poehler too. I recently, just this morning, I listened to her podcast
Oh yeah.
one of her podcast episodes, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, I like her podcast. Oh, Nick Offerman, that's who I'm thinking of. I think he's really funny. And then Aubrey
Okay.
Plaza I like as well. Rashida Jones.
Oh yeah, she's funny too. Yeah,
Yeah, lots of good people. Um,
she's
let's
in
see.
Criminal Minds.
Who?
Um, Aubrey.
Aubrey Plaza? Oh, hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think she's really funny. She's weird, but Stranger Things I liked, The Handmaid's Tale, Bridgerton, although it's kind of gone worse. I don't know. I really like The White Lotus, Black Mirror, Beef. It's a new show. There's only
Hated
one
it.
season. You hated it?
I know. Yeah,
Why?
it's a limited series. I hate limited series.
Because there aren't enough episodes?
Well, I hate limited series in general because there aren't enough episodes. I think that everyone who is involved in creating a limited series should just come together and actually write a fucking good TV show. With actual episodes of actual length, like 12 seasons, 10 different episodes within each season, or the quality sort of early 2000s experience. I want to bring that back. But I feel like it's also one of those, it falls in that everything everywhere all at once like vibe too. Like it's just like erratic and odd and not necessary.
I wouldn't say it's like similar to Everything Everywhere All at Once. It is pretty like
It's just like bizarre.
chaotic. I
It's
liked it though.
bizarre, I think.
I thought it was funny. I don't know. I thought it was funny
Well, I
that she
don't
was just
like
like,
comedies.
well, that's true. I feel like I just related to the feeling of like being like, I'm so fed up with fakeness and trying to like succeed and I'm just done with it all. This is who I am. Deal with it, that kind of thing. But I liked The Crown. I liked The Bear, Outlander. Schitt's Creek is really funny. Nobody Wants This is really cute. Um, The Last of Us was interesting, but I kind of stopped watching it. Oh, I really liked Dairy Girls. It's like an Irish show. Yeah. I feel like it's kind of hard to talk about like TV shows and movies because we haven't seen a lot of the same ones. But I mean, like, you have nothing to say about mine, and like, I guess I've seen some of yours, but I don't really watch Criminal Minds. I've
It's
watched
not
it.
really a popular one.
That's with, I think I've watched it. I think I did go through a phase where I watched a lot of it, but I just like haven't watched it in a long time. And I wouldn't say it's like one of my favorite shows, but it is entertaining. Um, I just go through phases of like watching crime shows slash police shows slash like true crime stuff and then like not wanting to watch any of it because it's all depressing. So
Do you have a favorite like genre of TV show or
let's see. It just depends. Like I like comedies sometimes, but then other times I really like more serious dramas. Like The Handmaid's Tale is
Mhm.
super serious, but I feel like it has a lot of good social commentary. I like social satires a lot.
Mhm.
Like The White Lotus, that's kind of why I like it. Like shows that make commentary on like, I don't know, just like the way society is set up and different kinds of people that are problematic. I think it's interesting. Um,
I like The Handmaid's Tale a lot too.
yeah, that's more dystopian almost,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
it's so like relatable because it just like depicts how the world could be if like things keep going down this problematic path that they're on. So,
Yeah, Margaret Thatcher, the author of the book. Did you read the book or no?
yeah, I didn't like it as much, actually.
She talked about how she used a lot of like historical texts and archives to come up with all the things that would happen because she didn't want people to be able to say that it was unrealistic. So she took like a lot of the really like disgusting parts from actual historical record, which I thought was cool.
Yeah,
Not cool for the people who experienced it, but
it's literally what's happening now, and it's what could happen, and it's scary. But it's really well done. It's just like if you're not in the mood for something super dark and most likely upsetting, then it's probably not the best show. So
I think it got worse too, though. You think it got worse?
kinda, because I feel like I got
Mm.
tired of June. I was just like, "You're fucking insane, and, like, you need to chill and, like, heal and get over what happened and stop being so vengeful," you know?
Yeah.
And she was obsessed with, like, finding her daughter
Hmm.
and, like, getting her daughter back, which, like, obviously I understand you want your kid back, but, like, her kid barely even remembered her and had grown up with, like, an entirely different family, and it's like, what, are you just gonna, like, kidnap her and, like, rip her away from everything she's ever known? Like, be realistic. And, like, she was so fixated on that one kid that she forgot about the kid that she actually had. I
Hmm.
don't know. I was just like, and then her relationship with her husband kind of, like, completely deteriorated, and she was, like, super obsessed with the other guy. Honestly, I kind of liked their relationship more because it was just so, like, I don't know, it was so passionate, I guess. But then he was kind of a Nazi in the end, you know? Like,
Correct.
the
So
equivalent of a
that's
Nazi.
where it
Yeah.
gets dicey. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I agree. She got annoying.
Yeah, like, once she, like, got out of that environment, like, she couldn't really connect with her husband anymore, I felt, because he just couldn't understand anything she went through, even though he was a better guy than, like, the other guy. So, that was just unfortunate, but
Yeah, I think that like she just became so singularly focused that she got annoying. But I think probably there are some people that are like that. Like when you experience a really traumatic experience, like you can just become very one note and like very focused on that for the rest of your life if you don't like heal and you can like be very vengeful and whatnot. So there are probably people that actually either identified with that energy or like that actually exist and they probably are annoying. It's like when potentially hot take, but it's like when people talk about people with various like disabilities, whether it be like developmental or like a severe mental illness or something like that. Oh, I can say this because I have a severe mental illness. Pass. Um, they,
Great.
it's like people will say like, "Oh, this person is really fucking annoying," but I feel like I can't say that because they like have whatever this issue is, and it's like, no, 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 that is the thing. Like if it wasn't maladaptive, like, if it didn't stop them from doing the thing that they want to do in their life, then, like, it wouldn't be called a disorder, it wouldn't be called a disability, and I feel like it's the same thing with, like, that level of trauma where it's like she becomes annoying, but, like, no, 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 like, that's part of it, like, her trauma is, like, negatively impacting all her relationships, it's spreading to everything, it's, like, ruining even her own internal state and life, and, like, it's a negative experience that permanently changes her behavior and her personality. So I'm sure those are people have had experiences like that too.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it in the sense that it was realistic in terms of, like, she didn't just escape and then go on to live happily ever after, like, she had to, like, then deal with all of the trauma that she experienced. It was showing the aftermath of that and, like, how it can affect people. And so I think that
Yeah.
that's, like, educational and good for people to know and understand. At the same time,
Mhm.
I was like, "No, like, get your shit together. Stop
Yeah,
ruining
same.
everything." So, yeah, it's a good show, though.
I also just don't really like rage. Like I just don't really connect with like rage or like people that are super angry. And so I feel like that was part of it too, where I was just like, okay, like this is a lot at this point.
Yeah, like, she wasn't making great choices, but, like, I don't know, the idea of, like, not being able to connect with people because they don't understand what you've been through and, like, they don't understand your emotional reaction to it was interesting to me.
Mhm.
Because some people, I feel like her husband in the show who was just so, like, calm and, like, nothing seemed to affect him. I feel like that's how I feel about some people. I'm just like, how can you be so chill all the time and, like, you don't care about anything? I don't know. Like, feel some feelings, you know? I'm not, like, full of rage though, so I wouldn't say I, like, connected with that either, but I guess I do get, like, mad when, like, things aren't going my way, though, which is probably something I should work on, but
We
yeah.
all have our things.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I take it out on people like she does, though.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but I think we've all, like, hit a breaking point and we're just like, "Fuck everyone. No, I can't fake it anymore." You know? So,
for sure. Yeah, that's how I feel about dating apps.
same.
Fuck everyone.
Which dating apps? Any of them? All of them?
I'm not really on any of them now, but I had started on Tinder like whenever Tinder came out. Whatever. What were we? 18. And then gone to field for like the rest of years until like the years in between that, unless I was in a serious relationship until this past year when went on Hinge or like within 2025. But I don't have any of them now. Just chilling.
Well, this ties into media, I guess. I mean, I feel like part of my um hatred of dating apps is because I feel like I'm already like looking at screens so much throughout the day, like on my laptop at work or like watching TV or whatever it is, on my phone. And then it's just like at the end of the night, do I want to be swiping on people on dating apps? No. And like I'm pretty picky, so I feel like I'm just like, no, 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 no. And then it's like half an hour of no. Like, I don't know, it just feels like a giant waste of time, and then, like, no one takes it seriously, and I don't know. It's
Yeah,
annoying.
I think I'm on my screen too much too, but I think it's hard not to be. I think we don't really have that much of a choice. I mean, I guess you can set certain boundaries with yourself. Like, I remember, explicitly being like, okay, today I'm not going to be on my phone. But then it was like, okay, I can't drive anywhere where I don't already know where I'm going. That's one thing because I would need navigation. And then I was like, "Oh, shoot, I need this to do my homework," because, like, there's all these notification codes to, like, get into the school library or, like, to get into whatever, like, onto the school Wi-Fi, and so I was like, "Okay, I gotta get out my phone for that." And then once you're on your phone, it's, like, hard to not check your messages, your emails, like, whatever the case may be, so it's like, I went on it to see whatever, like, how to get to the coffee shop where I'm gonna be doing my homework, but then now I'm on it, like, randomly for an hour, and I don't even know where the time went. Um, and that can happen with messages for sure, with, like, short form content, just scrolling, terrible.
Have you ever gotten those messages on, like, TikTok where it's like, "I see you've been scrolling for a long time. Do you wanna take a break? You should go to sleep."
I don't have a TikTok, so no,
Oh,
but
right.
that's
You don't
funny.
have TikTok. Yeah, sometimes I get those and I'm like, "Ugh, yikes." Even TikTok is telling me to get off TikTok. That can't be good.
Yeah, I heard TikTok was just so, like, addicting that I didn't wanna get it just in case.
Yeah, it is pretty addicting, and that's something I'm struggling with because sometimes I really enjoy watching the videos and they're really funny and
Mhm.
or I learn things about like current events or just different perspectives on like relationships or friendship or I don't know,
Mhm.
things that are going on in the world, and I'm like, "Oh, that was useful, like, that's insightful. I'm glad I watched that." But then other times I'm like, "How many other things could I be doing instead of scrolling on TikTok?" Like, I could be, like, learning how to cook something or bake something. I could be, like, watching a documentary. I could be reading a book, which when's the last time I've read a book?
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's like you can get information out of it and enjoyment out of it, but a lot of the time I'm just like, "Am I wasting my time?" And, like, I don't think it's making me feel better. 'Cause, like, sometimes, like, you see those videos like, "Get ready with me," or I don't know, "This is my day at work," or "This is
Mhm.
my, like, morning," or whatever, and then you just end up, like, comparing yourself to those people and be like, "Oh my god, I wish my life was like that. That looks so ideal, blah, blah, blah." So,
Especially now that everybody and their grandma's getting engaged. That's another reason why I had to get off social media in general. I mean, I have Instagram, but it's not downloaded on my phone, so every time that someone sends me, like, a video or something, like, text me an Instagram video, I have to re-download it, which is pretty annoying, so I end up not going out on it very much. But when I do, I end up seeing, like, engagement after engagement and, like, wedding, and I'm just like, "Ugh, I need to get off of this." So and I feel like the worst time to get on social media is right in the morning because I feel like I'll still be in bed, I'm like, like, roll over, and then I'm like, "Okay, let me go on YouTube and, like, watch this podcast or whatever." Next thing I know, like, an hour and a half has gone by and I haven't gotten up, and it's like, "What? I literally woke up early, like, how is it 9 p.m.?" So, I definitely need to stop doing that, and I've tried all these tricks and tips to, like, force
9 PM?
myself to get off social media. 9 AM, fool.
I just woke up, it's already 9 PM. Oh my god. Okay.
I try to do all of these tips and tricks to, like, force myself off social media. For a while, I was putting my phone on airplane mode, so the timer can still ring, but when I wake up, I can't, like, automatically connect to the internet. None of my messages have gone through, whatever, and that was working pretty well. And then I turned off my search history on YouTube, like, completely signed out, so then it wouldn't give me any suggestions on, like, what I wanted to watch. But then somehow, just because they're, like, tracking your cache or whatever, they still gave me suggestions about what I wanted to watch based on just, like, who I am as a human, so that was really
Oh
unfortunate.
my
So I
god.
just feel like it could be really hard to get off of it because you know it's addicting. Everybody and their grandma knows it's addicting. Well, their grandma might not know because their grandma's not on social media, but everybody knows that it's addicting. But, it's just hard to create those safeguards because it feels like they always, like, weasel away around it, you know what I mean? Big media.
Yeah, because I feel like you're like, "Oh, well, I have to, I can't miss, like, emails about work or about, like, something
Mhm.
important, so I can't completely, like, cut off my ability to access, like, social media or technology."
Have you ever done, like, a social media cleanse?
Not really.
You know how people do those?
Yeah, not really. I feel like sometimes I'm just like, if I'm going on a hike, I'll just leave my phone at home, or a walk, I'll just leave
Mhm.
my phone at home. I tend to do that pretty much every time.
Mhm.
Or sometimes I just feel like I just wanna go camping and, like, get away from society and be isolated from civilization, but then I've only been camping, like, one time in the past 10 years, so it's hard to do,
And how
like
did you feel about that?
it's hard to do unless you have, like, people to go camping with. It was nice to get away from, like, my phone and from the internet, I will say, like, it's nice to just, like, be in nature and, like, not have to think about, like, who's emailing you and who's texting you and
Mhm.
this and that. Because I feel like I get really attached sometimes to, like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I need too much instant gratification. So if, like, someone's not responding to me or I'm not getting texts, then I get sad. Other times I'll be like, "Oh, I should just leave my phone in the other room for an hour and then check it later." And then I do that and I'm like, "Oh my god, an hour has passed and still no texts?" Like, oh wow, now I feel even worse.
Same, yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I feel like the times where I'm usually off my phone are when I'm, like, with someone else. Like, when it could be a hike, but it could be a dinner, it could be whatever, like, I usually put my phone on, like, airplane mode during that as well. But, yeah, if I just, like, turn it off and put it in another room, I feel like that's the time where everybody decides that they're not gonna text me. And then I go
I
back and I'm
know.
like, "Oh my god, no."
Yeah, it's
I do hate
bad.
how, like I used to really hate how quickly I responded to texts because I felt like it made me seem like I wasn't doing anything, when in reality, I just, like, think I probably just like the dopamine burst from, like, having a new notification pop up or whatever, and I'm always, like, checking it. Also, I get, like, bored kinda quickly, so I'm, like, doing whatever I'm doing, and then I'm like, "Oh, why not just check my texts?" Um And so I used to really hate that, but now I'm just like, well, that's just me. I just respond quickly because I feel like there are some people that like they don't respond quickly, then it makes me think that they're like doing something with their time. But that's not even necessarily true. They could just be like scrolling or something, you know?
Yeah, I've always been pretty quick at responding too, but I feel like it's almost a compulsion where I'm
Yeah, I
like,
feel the same way. Yeah.
yeah, where it's like I can't stop thinking about it until I respond. Or I'm like thinking about what to say, and then I don't want to like keep thinking about what to say, so I just like make myself respond, you know?
Yeah, I think I compulsively check like almost compulsively check my text messages, like to see if I've gotten one. It's not necessarily about, like, needing to respond once I've gotten one, it's like, I am always checking if I got one or not, which is frustrating. Um, but I don't know, have you ever tried to, like, do any particular safeguards when it comes to social media or screens just in general? Like, we've been talking a little bit about how you've been feeling burnt out and, like, I know I'm sure there were times during, like, college and law school that you felt burnt out as well. Did you ever, like, set any particular, like, boundaries or goals around, like, how long you were gonna be on a screen per day or something?
Um, well, I feel like I'm also pretty good at not being on my phone when I'm around other people or when I'm doing something. Like at concerts, I'm not going to be taking videos. I often forget to take photos because I'm like too wrapped up in the moment.
Mhm,
Um, and like if I'm with someone, I want to be like fully engaged in the conversation and I'm not thinking about like, you know, other people I could be talking to if I'm already with someone. So I think it's just like making sure you're doing something. And like working out is helpful for me. And sometimes I forget about that. I'm just like, I'm so tired. I'm so burnt out. I just want to like lay down and not think and not use my brain and just scroll and like watch videos that make me laugh. But a lot of the time it makes me feel like I'm rotting and like not doing anything productive and not like, I don't know, making myself feel better actually. So then it makes me feel worse because I'm just like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm just scrolling. I'm wasting away. All this time is slipping down the drain. So then I'll be like, I should really work out. But it's so hard to like get myself to work out sometimes. But then once I do it, I'm like, wow, I feel a lot better. I should work out more often. And it's just this like vicious cycle. Cause like we used to have a team and like coaches that forced us to work out, even if we didn't feel like it. And
mhm,
like because I felt like I owed it to my team to not let them down and my coaches. And like also I had like the personal drive to like excel in the sport. And so I didn't want to be inconsistent. Like I would go even if I didn't feel like it. But now I'm just like, I'm
mhm,
not really working towards anything. So I don't have the same like motivation and or sense of urgency. And then I'm like, wow, that's kind of sad because like I still like want to feel good and look good and that should be enough
mhm.
motivation, but like it isn't always.
No, I feel like that's a common problem, like, a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
Sorry. A lot of people struggle with that. I don't personally, I don't think, but as you pointed out, I don't really like the social aspect of working out as much as I like just like the fitness part, the mental health part, and like just being left alone and the discipline and all of that, like being immersed and not thinking as much, just being very in your body and all of that stuff. So I feel like that's probably why it's easier for me to do that. I have been thinking about because working out is one of the few things that I'm like very disciplined about. Like, I go to the gym like 4 times a week in the morning, and I go on a hike pretty much every weekend on Sunday mornings, either with a friend or with myself. Like, I switch out. And so I was trying to think, like, okay, how can I graft that, speaking of burnout, onto like the way that I work? Because I feel like the way that I work is so much more like sporadic. Like, sometimes I'm just not in the mood and I'm like, ugh. And it's like, that's not a good enough reason. Like, in the same way that when people want to work out, but then, and afterwards, you always feel like good about the fact that you like completed your work, but it's hard to like motivate yourself to do it. And I feel like that's also what I'm trying to figure out like how do I use how I work out and like that part of my brain and discipline and graft that onto like how I approach career. We'll keep you updated on if that works, but that's my thought for now.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, media can also be helpful in terms of like showing us how other people work out and like how other people
Mhm.
manage their time. And it can be motivating sometimes because you're looking at a video of someone like being super productive and you're like, oh shit, like I should do that. But at the same time, it's like you don't want to be constantly comparing yourself to others and you want to be able to like just sit there and think and like pay attention and be present to like whatever you're experiencing. So I don't know. I feel like sometimes I feel like my attention span like is getting worse because of all the time I'm spending like looking at screens. And
Mhm.
I also feel like I'm less patient and I'm just like, I just want things when I want them. Why aren't they like coming to me faster, like a text message, you know?
I don't remember patience being your strong suit ever.
It's not, but I'm like, is technology or like media helping with that? I feel like it's probably not. I don't know.
Probably not.
And then people always say like, oh, no one was meant to be this available like 24/7 to everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's true, but at the same time, that's the reality and we know that everyone's available. So it becomes very easy to like take it personally when someone's like not responding to you or when like
Mm.
you're not hearing from people because it's like it's literally so easy. All you have to do is like pick up your phone and say hello, you know? So it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know if like I necessarily feel like it's making my attention span worse, but I do think that it makes my politics bad, which is why I first got off of social media in 2020 because I feel like it's so polarizing and people are constantly like, saying these really extreme views and that's what gets popular and you sort of get like cycled, funneled further and further down like having higher and higher expectations for what people should be willing to commit politically. Like, I remember during 2020, people were saying, like, if you're a white person, you should throw your body in front of like a black person that's about to be shot by the police. And it's like, and so I feel like, but people were like saying that with their chest. I'm like, whatever, if that's your opinion. And maybe like there are certain people that would die for another person, like a mom would die for their kid or whatever. But I was just like, I started feeling like, okay, social media is like not working well for me in this instance. And since I care a lot about social change and volunteering, I was like, yep, this is not something that I want to do. So, yeah. But
Yeah.
there are some pros to social media, like you were talking about, in terms of like humor, dog videos, babies, so cute, and like educational content as well. Like I learned most of the things that I learned about like body positivity and stuff, I learned on social media.
Yeah. I took a media studies class in college, which was a
Oh
lot
yeah,
more,
what do you think?
it was like a lot more theoretical and like philosophical. It was kind of like philosophy. Like it wasn't really about like actual media and like how things work on the internet these days. Like it was just philosophy as applied to like media. And I think I wrote a paper about how it's like making perfectionism worse. I wish I could find that. It was probably pretty interesting. I remember it being interesting to write because, like, I think everyone's experienced going on to Instagram and it being a sort of highlight reel, but and cognitively you know that people are just posting like the best moments of their lives,
Mhm.
but it almost doesn't register that way because you're just looking at people's pages and I don't know, like processing that information as if that's their life and like why doesn't your life look like that? And how do I make my life look more like this person's life? And how do I curate my like Instagram page so that I can project a certain image? And it just becomes like this pressure to feel like perfect, I guess, in a lot of ways. But I think some people have done a good job of like being more vulnerable on the internet, which is what we're trying to do. And so I think that is nice because it makes you feel like less alone and like other people are struggling with similar things. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think media studies is stupid. I've never taken a media studies class, but I feel like a lot of times when it's like I associate it with like media critique, kind of like when people are making commentary on what they think a movie means or something, and then
Mm.
they're like posting it on like a blog or something or like Twitter. I don't know. I don't have Twitter, but um and I just feel like movies and like art and whatnot are supposed to be up to the interpretation of like either the author if they're explaining like, oh, this is what I meant, or like the individual person, but I don't think it needs to be shared. Like my gripe with like media is the way that I feel like it turns like it takes away from people making their own opinions on something because people are constantly like looking up what other people think about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think it can be like really easy to adopt like other people's opinions as your own without critically thinking about it because you're just like consuming what they're saying on social media.
Yeah. But again, I've never taken a media studies class, so, like, maybe I would love it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it was like way more theoretical than I thought it would be,
Yeah,
at least the class that I took. So I wouldn't say it was like super practical necessarily, but I did think it was interesting at the time.
I wanted to ask what made you think that you wanted to go into entertainment law, and, like, why did you wanna work with in media?
Um, I just have always found creative people to be really fascinating, I think. And I just, I've always sort of wanted to immerse myself in the world of like creating something beautiful and like, how does that happen? And how do we prevent issues from occurring? And like, just like working with those kinds of people as clients and like helping those kinds of people, I thought would be fulfilling because I've always really liked and found a lot of purpose and fulfillment in like music and film and TV and comedy and kind of any sort of art form.
Mhm,
So, yeah, I think like intellectual property law and just the idea of like protecting um, creative works is important to me because like growing up in Silicon Valley, I felt like no one cared about the humanities or like anything artistic or creative. And I was constantly like, how do you not see like the value in this? This is so
mhm.
important. And so I feel like at least intellectual property law is kind of like that's the whole point of it is to like protect those sorts of works and those authors and creators. And so that's like it aligns with like what I care about.
Fair enough. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I also kind of thought, oh, it would be, nice to pursue some of my own creative endeavors on the side. And so by learning about the issues that other creators face and like how the business works, that could help me in my own projects as well.
In the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. You watch reality TV, right? Or no?
Not a lot. Um, I liked Love is Blind. I liked The Circle somewhat, but I always get tired of reality TV. I feel like it's really fake. Like, I've never been into The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I, like, don't really like Love Island. I don't know. It's just like people on reality TV shows are so annoying. And that all they just want to be like influencers. That's like all they care about. I don't know. I used to watch like The Real Housewives, and I just
Mhm.
remember that I just remember this one moment. It was like over the summer or something, and I was just watching like it was like binge watching Real Housewives, and I was just like, this is so depressing. Like, why are people the way that they are? Like, it was just like watching these women like bicker and scream at each other, and I'm just like, this is like not inspiring in the slightest. Like, these people suck. I don't know.
Why do you think people find it so fascinating then?
I feel like it makes people feel better about themselves because they're just like, oh my
Because it's
God.
trashy.
Yeah, it's like these people are so ridiculous. At least I'm not like that. Like, oh my God, can you
Mhm.
believe what this person just did? Blah, 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 blah. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really find a lot of enjoyment in like, I just don't even think it's real. Like, I think it's like a lot of those situations are very contrived just for
Yeah.
like views and for fame. And I think a lot of the time they're in on that because they like want to be famous. So they're creating drama because they know that like people will talk about it. So it just doesn't make me feel good about myself.
So you wouldn't ever be on one?
Could you see me on one? I don't think so.
I
Um,
would go on Ink Master.
Ink Mastery?
It's the only reality TV show I've ever watched, and it's like where tattoo artists come together and they have like different challenges, and then they're like judged and voted off like the island kind of thing. Um, but the people that come in are like just people that have volunteered to be on the show, but they're also going to get like as a result of volunteering, they're going to get a free tattoo from one of the artists. But like, for example, it might not be in the artist's wheelhouse. Like it'll be like, oh, you have to do like a realism tattoo of like a clock. And it's like the person who's doing the tattoo is like a black and gray artist that does like fine line portraits or something. So then it's like you don't know if your tattoo will be good or not, which is why I think people probably wouldn't want to go on. But I really enjoyed watching the show. I love tattoos. I would love to get a free one. Sometimes they're really cool. Like you can get a tattoo that would have been like thousands and thousands of dollars because it's like a really famous tattoo artist, but you get it for free. So
Hmm.
I think I would like it, but sometimes they look really trash because it's under a time constraint too.
That is a gamble.
It's a gamble.
Oh my God. Sometimes I do watch like those competition shows like Makeup Artists,
Mhm.
or like Project Runway. I
Yeah,
think those are fun. I used to watch like America's Next Top Model, which is really problematic now if you watch it back. But
I
um
don't.
yeah, like The Voice, those sorts of
Oh,
shows. I
yeah,
think
The Voice. Is The
yeah.
Voice reality
Well, I
TV?
don't
I don't think so.
I don't know if competitions are really considered reality TV, but that's probably
Oh,
my
are they?
favorite. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of my favorite sort of reality TV because they're like real
Yeah,
people. Like it's not
yeah.
like there's no plot. I mean, there kind of is sometimes, but those are fun. Those can be fun. I liked The Voice. I liked watching like the blind auditions when I was feeling sad because it was always so happy. It was like, their dreams were coming true when someone's chair
Mhm.
turned around and like their family would be in the background, like screaming and crying, like hugging each other. I was like, oh my God, dreams can come true. Like things can work out. So,
Yeah, I used to watch The Voice too.
uh-huh.
It's hard to keep up with things, like, I don't know. That's why I watch now, like, TV shows usually, that have ended. And if they haven't ended, they have, like, a ton of seasons. Because it's like I'm watching one right now called High Potential, which is where, like it's, again, propaganda. They're, like, in this, precinct, and the woman who is a cleaner. Is this sounding like Good Will Hunting? But the woman who is a cleaner, like, comes in and, like, fixes the board. You know how they have, like, the board with all the red lines, and it's like, "Oh, this is connected to this." She, like, fixes it, and she finds out who the murderer is.
Oh, I is that on Hulu? I think I did watch
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that was good.
Um, and I really like it because it's like usually in those cases, I feel like they're men. Like the smart one is like a man. Like it's like, oh, house
Mhm.
or like white collar, like whoever the criminal informant is usually a man. And the one who like can see things that nobody else can see, Sherlock, whatever. And so I just like that that one's a woman. And she's so like gaudy and extra and fun, bubbly. But yeah, season 2 is coming out and I can't watch, like, just episode by episode, so I'm, like, waiting for the whole season to come out. That's why fucking Wednesday Addams, like, took me out of the throat because I knew when the new season was coming out, and I watched it. I was planning on binging it, and they only released 3 fucking episodes, and then they were like, "Rest of the episodes released in September." What? That's not an option. When you release a
Yeah.
season, you have to release the season. You can't release 3 at once and 3 more at once.
Did you like Wednesday?
Yeah, loved it. Giving very sociopath.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I just like that she doesn't have the same demeanor as, like, female leads usually have. Like, it's like, finally someone who's expressionless and doesn't have to smile and have a romantic interest, you know? Like,
Yeah,
bruh.
she literally gives sociopath vibes.
But it's
She does.
also but it's also, like, finally people are, like, rooting for a girl that, like, I don't know, isn't bubbly and cheerful and, like, whatever. The
Yeah, I was listening to this sociopath who's also a professor talk about it, and she was saying that that was one of her favorite things about the show was seeing girls dress up as her for Halloween and, like, not smiling. Because usually you're like, "Trick or treat," but, like, people were, like, staying in character, and she was like, "Oh my god, it's just, like, so refreshing." Because
trick or
she was
treat.
saying that growing up, like, she didn't have that countenance either, she wasn't, like, super cheerful or bubbly, and she also, like, didn't really identify with, like, feeling so much. She's not a psychopath, but she was, like, I guess feeling so much empathy for other people or, like, whatever, um, and she still cared a lot about, like, her family and, like, helping people that were in her best interest and whatnot, but, like, she wasn't, like, going around, like, being evil, this sociopath lady. The professor. But she was like, "Yeah, I just really identified with Wednesday Addams," and she was like, "It's so nice to see people rooting for a character that has, like, more of the traits that I feel like I had growing up that, like, people really hated." So,
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I identify with her sociopath-like tendencies,
yeah, me either.
but, yeah, I just like that she she just, like, doesn't fit into the stereotype of, like, female leads that we normally see, so
Yeah.
it's nice.
I strongly identify with her countenance. Sorry, there was a fly flying.
I
I
mean,
strongly
same.
identify with her countenance. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
And just not smiling.
at least that's how people see me. I mean, that's how I can be sometimes, like, kind of expressionless or, like, um I don't know. I have a good, like, poker face.
I just have a flat affect,
Yeah. So,
which is fine.
it's nice. It's nice to see. And she's very talented,
Mhm.
which is cool. But
Yeah.
and I think, like, she does care about people. She just doesn't show it very well.
She's a strong female lead. I would agree with that.
I guess the other show is kinda similar with the female cop. Like, she's kind of a strong woman in a different way, completely different personality.
Yeah,
But she also doesn't fit into, like, the stereotype of what you would assume, like, a policewoman would be like.
for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's always fun to have people that break that norm and people that are, like, representation of you, like to find people where it's like, "Oh my god, I'm just like them," in whatever way, even if it's only in their lack of facial expressions. But yeah, Wednesday
Yeah,
Addams is
yeah.
also really funny. Like, the show is funny and good, you know?
Yeah, I just like when, like, people I like shows that show that, like, you don't have to be like everyone else, but you can still be really talented and good at your job and, like,
Mhm.
inspirational, and your differences can actually make you better, you know? So, those shows are nice to see. Um, I really like Emma Watson, actually. She was just on a podcast recently, and I'm planning on watching that episode, but I feel like she's really wise and intelligent and, like, classy.
What has she been up to?
And I
Do you
loved
know?
Harry Potter, so that's part of it. Well, the whole podcast is kind of about how she's taking a break, or she took a break from acting because, like, growing up on the Harry Potter set was such a unique experience, but she didn't really realize how rare and unique it was, and she felt like
Mhm.
she thought that going to work would mean, like, being with a community, like, finding your, like, family, and, like, lifelong friends, and she said she, like, took that expectation to other workplaces, and the realization that, like, people weren't there to make friends or people didn't wanna be her friend was, like, bone-breakingly painful. She
Oh,
was talking
wow.
about yeah, she was talking about how she, like, doesn't really have a very thick skin and, like, just couldn't take it anymore, like, the competition and, like, the toxicity of being in Hollywood, and that she
Mhm.
was, like, beating herself up about it, like, "Why can't I, like, handle it? Why can't I just push through?" But then she's like, "Actually, the fact that I can't handle it is good because it means, like, I'm keeping my humanity and, like, I'm not sacrificing or, like, compromising my values in order to succeed." So I thought that was, like, a good perspective, so I feel like I struggle with that too sometimes. And I wish I had, like, a thicker skin in some situations, but it's also like, do I want to normalize that kind of behavior? Like,
Mhm.
is that something I should get used to, you know?
It's interesting because I feel like with child stars, you usually hear something so different. Like, they had a terrible first experience.
Yeah. But I think, like, Harry Potter well, she was kinda talking about, like, JK Rowling too and how she, like, doesn't hate her and, like, even though she doesn't agree with her, she thinks that, like, she would hope that people still love her who don't agree with her, and she wants to still be able to love people she doesn't agree with, and, like, she
She
thinks that
loves
everything
her, though, or Harry Potter?
I think she still has, like, love for her, and, like, she
Were
wants
they
people to
friends?
I think so, I mean, like,
Oh,
I think she got pretty close with everyone because, like, you know, they grew up making those movies and, like, I'm sure she was around and, like, involved. But I think also just Harry Potter, because like, some people are just saying, like some people are kind of acting like, regardless of, like, what she did with Harry Potter, like, "I'm erasing that, she's canceled, like, who cares?" But it's like Harry
mhm.
Potter was actually, like, such an important like, cultural moment. Like, it got kids, like, reading again. Like, even the movies, it just seems like it was such a positive experience for everyone who was involved on those movie sets. I
Mhm.
just feel like the entire thing was so, like, rare and, like, magical almost. So it's like, should we really just completely erase that and pretend like it didn't happen and she didn't contribute anything to society just because she said something problematic now? I mean, I don't know. It was just an interesting idea because it's like, I feel like cancel culture is becoming so prominent. And she was just saying that it's like representative of how like society is treating people as like way more disposable now than we used to. But yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe it's more common now that, like, the average, like, everyday person is treating other people as disposable, but I feel like the state, like, the federal government, for example, has, like, always treated people like disposable, like, decided who is worth dying and who isn't. Big pharma has always treated people like disposable, so,
Yeah.
um, yeah, but I think probably the everyday person, like, everyday interactions or whatever with cancel culture and, like, dating apps and stuff, maybe that's gotten worse, or I would assume that's gotten worse.
Yeah, because it's so easy to like hide behind a screen and just say things about people and insult people like cyberbullying and stuff. Cyberbullying wasn't even a thing before like the internet. I mean, it's just opened the door to so much negativity, um, which I think is unfortunate because I think we really need more positivity in the world right now. And even I'm just like, I feel like being way too negative lately and complaining too much. And I'm just like, I need to stop complaining so much. Like, get your shit together. you know? So I think like the media can feed into that negative cycle sometimes
Mhm.
because, I mean, yeah, even if it's like tracking your activity or something, like the same, like, if you're like in a bad mood and you're like looking at negative stuff one day, then the same stuff is going to keep popping up and you can't control it really. But it's like, what if you don't, like, you don't want to expose yourself to that like every day, all the time, you know? So,
Yeah, not to mention targeted ads, and then you end up buying things that you don't need. There are obviously
yeah.
just a lot of, like, cons. I mean, everybody knows them.
Yeah. Like not showing you, like, it's like confirmation bias. Like stuff will only pop up that the algorithm thinks you'll agree with, or you're only going to look up stuff that you think will support your point of view. So,
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned a couple of times that I didn't grow up with a TV, but I actually really enjoyed that experience, and it's something that I would like to do with my children if I have them, if my partner's okay with it, because I think that it really, like, encouraged us to read books and play outdoors and, like, do a lot of imaginary games, like, me and my siblings. I remember, like, spending a lot of time playing, like, imaginary games with each other, and my mom said when we were young, we used to talk like books as well, like, we'd be like, "Blah, blah, 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 so and so exclaimed." Like, we were literally just, like, so in depth into that, like, experience, which I think is good. Like, we still all like to read now, but of course, it gets busy. And, like, more and more difficult to read or whatever. But also, like, to the targeted ads point, we didn't really know much about commercials. Like, not having a TV, we didn't really know what, like, the newest thing out was or whatever, because obviously there were no phones either. And so, like, we never knew what to ask for Christmas. And my, like, granddad would say all the time, like, "That's because they don't have a TV." Like, they don't, because the commercials tell you what's cool and what you want to, like, get. Like, if you're just hanging out at your house, like, and have your basic needs met, like, you don't really want anything else. So I think that was, like, a really cool thing about not growing up with a TV that I would like to be able to replicate to the extent possible, because obviously, like, the kid will have a phone, so they'll be able to, like, find their own stuff. I wonder, do you
yeah.
think that how early do kids have to get computers for school?
Oh my gosh.
Middle school?
I don't know, but I remember I got a Facebook in seventh grade, and I really wish that I hadn't gotten a Facebook so
Really?
young. Yeah, because I like, oh my God, I got so sucked into Facebook. I think partly because I'm like really curious about people. I'm
Mhm.
constantly like wanting to investigate. I'm like a big like internet stalker, not gonna lie.
Stalker? Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's just really fun. I don't know. I just like to find things out about people and to know things about people and like, oh, that's interesting. Like they did that, they did this. Like what are they doing now? I mean, I'm not creepy, I swear. But anyway, not like hacking into anyone's computer, whatever. But I'm not. But I used to like look at all my classmates like Facebook pages and I was like, "Oh my god, this is fascinating. Like, what is this person like? What is that person like? Blah blah blah." And I would just spend like hours like on Facebook looking at everyone's posts and like posting my own stuff and like I don't know, having photo shoots and posting my photos on Facebook. And I was just like, I remember thinking later on, like, how much time did I waste just like lying on the floor of my room in the dark, like scrolling on Facebook? It's like, it becomes weird because, internet stalking can be fun, but it's also like maybe you should actually like interact with people and get to know them that way. That might
Mhm.
be better. Like organically and naturally. I think that would help with social skills and also just be more beneficial for mental health.
Yeah, it's less
So,
adjacent to something that's illegal.
yes. Yeah. Don't worry, it wasn't that extreme.
Do you use, like, do you look at Find My iPhone a lot or, like, Find My Friends or whatever?
That's something I, like, don't care about, actually. Some people are really into, like, looking at
Yeah.
everyone's location and, like, are constantly, like, tracking people's location, and they'll, like, text you, like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And I'm just like, "Did I tell you I was here?" It's interesting.
Yeah, I thought about it. I took one of my friends off of it because I was like, "I can't be bothered with this bullshit. Like, you do not need access." Because she would be like, "Oh, like, I saw you're in San Francisco, but, like, you didn't say hi." It's like, "No, fuck you." So I had to take her off. She was doing too much. Um But yeah, my youngest sister said that Find My iPhone is or Find My Friends or whatever is like another version of social media for her. I was like, "That's horrifying, and you need to get some actual friends, and hang out with them in the flesh, stalker." And then my other friend was telling me that she uses LinkedIn like social media, and, like, it makes her feel bad sometimes because she compares herself to other people on LinkedIn, and I was just like, "What's going on, guys? Do we not have enough social media already? Why are you using these other platforms that are not even supposed to be social media and turning them into social media?"
Like a Venmo. Sometimes I'll be like,
Venmo!
who are they hanging out with? Who are
Oh
they?"
my god, this is crazy.
Yeah. No, I actually don't go on Venmo that much, but sometimes if I'm bored, I'll be like, what's the latest transaction?"
What do you think that people would be doing if they weren't on their phones as much?
Speaking to each other?
Oh.
Yeah, probably. Which I think would be helpful for this generation, honestly. Because, like, everyone's lonely, and it's like, why is everyone lonely? Because we're all on our fucking phones not talking to anyone.
Yeah, it can be really horrifying it can be very dystopian in certain moments to, like, look up and see everyone on their phone, like, standing in line for coffee, for example, like, I try not to be on my phone when I'm standing in lines because, like, it's just a time where I feel like it's easy to not be on it and, like, stay present or whatever and just, like, hang out and take a break. And, like, everyone's on their phone. Also, similarly, in the gym, like, in between breaks, people aren't just, like, sitting there, they're, like, on their phone. And I like bodybuilding, I was listening to this one guy on his bodybuilding podcast, Cutler Jay Cutler, and he was talking about how obviously, but I kind of forgot this, like, because they didn't have cell phones, they, like, weren't listening to music, like, they were just, like, literally working out. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's, like, crazy." Like but, I guess they had, like, they had, like, music in the gym and, like, radio and stuff, but you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
it's just so weird and, like, dystopian to be in the gym and then look up and, like, see everyone looking down on their phones or, like, taking a picture of themselves on their phones instead of, like, actually just working out and doing what they're there to do.
Yeah, there have been times where I've, like, forgotten my beats at home, and I was just like, "Well, I have to leave now because, like, I can't listen to music when I'm working out, and that wouldn't be enjoyable." But it's like, I think I could survive, you know?
Mhm. I mean, it is a hard one for sure.
Yeah, but, like, people didn't used to have that,
Yeah.
so
Pros and cons to phones, pros and cons to screens. I guess phones are screens. Pros and cons to media, not being on social media, having a TV. It's all about like what works best for you and then also about moderation. I feel like that's the main thing.
yeah. I feel like the idea of writing letters also sounds kind of fun, like, I feel like letter writing is, like, a lost art, but, like, wouldn't it be nice to get, like, this really detailed, like, thoughtful letter from someone in the mail? I feel like that'd be so fun.
I mean, I write cards all the time to people.
Yeah.
I sent out Mother's Day cards to like all the mothers that I know and like in life.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's
I just
nice.
enjoy writing cards. I send out like personalized thank you cards to people, like former teachers and stuff like that. So I agree with you. I think letter writing, I don't think it's a lost art because I literally do it, but I think that it is, people are always like very appreciative of it and like really delighted to see it in their mailbox. So I think it's worth getting into.
Yeah, my aunt still writes me letters and, like,
Yeah.
cards, which I think is kind of cute. So, um, yeah, maybe I should do that more. I don't
Do you
know.
have like an ideal case scenario relationship with media? Like, how would you want it
Um,
to look?
it's a good question. I feel like it's just about like I think when it becomes problematic, it's because I'm using it as an escape, like instead of dealing with my problems or
Mhm,
like doing things that need to get done. Like sometimes when I'm anxious or like overwhelmed, I'll just be like, I don't want to think, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to be productive, so I'm just gonna like scroll on social media and like rot in my bed. Um, and I like get too like overwhelmed and paralyzed to like make decisions or like figure out what to do.
mhm,
But I don't think that actually like helps with anything. I think you just need to learn to like do something and like try something and just like keep going, you know?
mhm.
Just like making sure you have a full life so that media usage doesn't become all consuming. Like making sure you have other things going on that take your attention away from your phone. But also at the same time, like I would never want to be one of those people that's just like, I'm just bad at texting. I just like can't respond because it's like everyone takes their phone everywhere, you know? So like you can respond and it's not that hard. But and like I kind of pride myself on being like good at communicating. I don't think it's bad to respond quickly to text. I think that people who respond quickly or expect quick responses kind of get like a bad rap these days, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's just more efficient to respond quickly and like, why not if you're free? Like, I hate when people play like texting games and they're just like, no, I have to wait because I don't want to
Yeah,
seem like too eager or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't done that, but like I won't usually respond immediately unless
mhm.
like it doesn't matter. I'm like texting someone I know really well. But I just feel like if you're available and you see it and you have time, like just
I
respond.
agree
Like
with that.
you
I'm
don't need to
People are
overthink it.
always asking me like, "Oh, should I text him? Should I text him?" And I'm like, "If you want." Like, if you
Do you
don't want
wanna
to,
yeah.
then don't. If you do want to, then do.
Yeah, it's like, do you really wanna waste like 30 minutes of your life wondering if you should text someone instead of just texting them? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, obviously, there's, like, nuance, like, if you're texting your ex at, like, midnight
Yeah.
saying, "You up," like, maybe let that go, but, yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think
Yeah.
that it does stress me out when people expect responses to emails right away, though. Texts, I do, but,
True.
like, emails, like, it really stresses me out. I'm working on a paper with one of my, like, really close friends from, um, CMC. And she always responds to emails right away, and it stresses me out so much, but she said that it's because, like, corporate requires you to do that, like, if you don't respond by end of day, they're like, "What are you doing?" Whereas I'll be like, "I didn't even check that email," like, even though I
Yeah.
have the notifications on my phone, so, yeah.
I think sometime for some reason, texting feels like a lot of pressure for some people. I don't feel that way about it. I feel like
Yeah,
it's
me neither.
pretty low stakes, but email is, like, a lot more daunting to me as
Yeah.
well. Like, I'm just, like I feel, like, more pressure to craft, like, a really well-written email, and so I always spend way too much time writing emails and, like, rewriting emails, and so, yeah, I'll procrastinate responding to emails when I really should just respond as soon as I get it, or I should respond more promptly, and it's like, if someone's just, like, emailing me about something that's not that important, I'm like, "Just text me instead." Like, I don't wanna, like, have to think about this email, and I don't wanna, like, see it in my inbox and, like, look at, like, how I formatted it. It's like, I don't know. Like, I don't care about a typo as much in a text, but in an email, I'm like, "Oh my god. That's my work. That's my, like,
You can
product."
also edit. You can edit a typo in a text.
Yeah. But you can't yeah, that's another thing, like, once you send an email, like, it's gone. Like, you can't, like, edit it, can't do anything. I'm like, that's a lot of pressure," you know?
Yeah.
So, do you have any strategies for like managing media? Like, what would your ideal media usage look like?
I don't wanna be on social media right when I get up or, like, on my phone at all. I, like, wanna get up and either, like, do the work I need to do, ideal case scenario, leave my house. I often, like, leave my house and go to the gym, but I don't do it with the speed in which I prefer. Um, That's actually why I really like going on the hikes because on Sunday, typically, I will, like, wake up at 7 and have to be at the place where I'm gonna hike with a friend at 8. So I, like, get up, eat, drive there immediately, not touching my phone, and then I'm, like, in nature doing like, exercise with a friend, and I just feel like that is, like, the perfect way to start the day. So yeah, I would wanna get up, not be on my phone, probably, like, eat breakfast, but I have gotten into the habit of watching TV while I eat, which I feel like is not ideal, but it's an ingrained habit by now, so maybe I'll just keep that. And then I listen to, like, media a lot when I'm, like, going from place to place, like, in the car, but then sometimes I call my friends. Sometimes I just try to be silent. I think, like, there are a lot of times where I try to just not have my phone and, like, more and more recently, like, not have any noise because I think we have, like, too much noise going on constantly. It's, like, always something running through your head when really, like, you just need more space to, like, consolidate your thoughts or, like, form your opinions or things become clearer, I think, a little bit when you have, like, more space in your brain that's just yourself. So anyway, that's not a very cohesive answer, but I think I like to be on my like phone as little as possible unless I'm like connecting with someone, like calling or texting. And then I think I like to be on like listening to some sort of media when I'm like at the gym or in some sort of like transition unless I completely want to like be out of my head. And then I always listen to TV when I'm falling asleep or, like, music. So, I'd wanna do that. And I wish I could be on screens left, but that's a whole whole 'nother conversation because that has to do with work and, like, the boundaries that you put on around your workday, which I feel like is hard to do with a job that's, like, remote and that's research and where there's always something to do, you know? You know how school is.
Yeah. I kind of miss the fact that, like, in classrooms, we were just, like, listening to someone talk and,
Yeah.
like, I would write notes in a notepad, so I wouldn't really look at my laptop that much in class.
Mhm.
Um, and then, like, I would do homework on my laptop, but it wasn't like I was always on my laptop. Whereas, like,
Yeah.
at work, I feel like it's more common to just be on your laptop, like, constantly unless you're in a meeting or something. But
Yeah, I also use, like, a paper planner. I feel like I'm kind of, like, analog preferably,
me too.
but then I'm, like, tossed into a generation where it's, like, not allowed, you know?
I know. It's like I don't wanna have Google Calendar, like,
Oh,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
use that at all. I have a record player, like, I like that. I don't know. I feel like I liked the iPod where you could have music because sometimes I wanna go to the gym and leave my phone, and it's like I can't do that. It's like, bring back iPods where we could just listen to
True.
our playlists, you know? So, um, but obviously, like, I think, like I said, A, moderation is important. B, living authentically is important. But C, not being the one that's like bah humbug and like the person that's able to get with the times too is good. So, like
Yeah.
when I'm teaching my students at school, it's like nice to be able to pull on examples from like podcasts or like bring up different pop culture people that they might know. And by pop culture people, I mean celebrities because pop culture people is not a thing that people say. I don't know why I said that. So yeah, they're like, I don't know, it creates some sort of way of connecting with other people too.
Yeah, we had that one professor in college who was, like, anti-ebook. Do you remember him? Our American literature
I do.
professor? He'd be
I
like, "Get
do.
out of my classroom," if he saw an ebook. It was like, I don't think you need to be that extreme. Like, he, like, lived by himself on a mountain and, like, hated technology.
Shout out recluses.
Yeah, he was interesting. Smart guy, but
Yeah, I liked the class, or I liked what we read in the class. American literature.
mhm. He was definitely eccentric, though, so yeah, I don't reject technology to that extent. I went on a date with this other guy that was like, "I don't text, blah, blah, blah. I just don't think blah, blah, blah." It's like Stop.
Goodbye.
So,
This is never gonna work. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember,
oh.
Caleb Heron, who's a comedian, talking about when he tried to get, like, a flip phone, and everyone treated him like he was a complete and utter joke, and, like, nobody respected it, like, nobody texted him, like, nobody gave a shit, and he was like, "Okay, I have to go back." So, he got rid of his flip
Yeah.
phone.
That whole thing with, like, "Oh my god, if the message is green, ew," it's like, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know what that
why
era
does
was all about.
why does that matter? I don't really care. Like, as long as you can contact someone, do I care if they have a flip phone or, like, an Android? No, not
I
really.
personally prefer that the guy that I'm seeing has an Android, so I can't see him on my iMessages on my computer. So if I don't wanna associate with him, I can just put my phone far away. This is my experience.
Yeah, I feel like when dating, sometimes I get, like, too anxious about stuff, so I'll put people on, like, do not disturb, which can be helpful sometimes.
Yeah, well, I have everyone on Do Not Disturb except for a few souls. Or,
Yeah, it's
like,
like yeah.
I took you off Do Not Disturb when we were prepping for the podcast because like, I needed to see when you were, like, ready and whatever. But, like,
Mhm.
after that, best believe I'll put you back. I have everyone on Do Not Disturb except for, like, my mom.
Yeah, it's like, "I don't wanna see when you've texted me, I'm just gonna check when I feel like it," whatever.
Yeah, it,
I don't
like,
know.
tears you away from whatever you're actually supposed to be slash trying to do.
Yeah, I don't like when I hate texting anxiety. Feel like it mostly arises for me when I'm, like, dating people, but usually that means it's, like, not gonna work out, I think. Like, if you're so stressed about, like, when they text you and, like, what they're saying, it's like, I think that's a symptom of a bigger problem. I don't know.
Maybe. I think sometimes you just don't have enough to do. So you're,
Yeah.
like, sitting around stressing,
It's like,
whereas,
get
like,
a
if you were
life.
busy. Yeah, like, I don't know, sometimes it's like, yeah, you just need to get a life, but yeah, I do get anxious about like, especially if you send something risky or whatever, you know?
That's
I think
normal,
it's
yeah.
normal to get anxious
But, like,
about a text.
never again will I be the way that I was before I started dating my first boyfriend. Like, I was,
Okay.
like, Snapchatting him all summer, and I would spend, like, 10 minutes trying to take a single Snapchat so that I, like, looked perfect and that, like, I said something witty or whatever. And I would spend so much time crafting these Snapchats and like, "Oh my god, he hasn't responded to my Snapchat yet. When is he gonna respond? Blah, blah, blah." And it's like, why didn't I just get a fucking life and like a
Yeah.
hobby? Like, what was I doing that summer? Wasting it away, worried about
We were young.
Snapchat? I know.
We were young. But
Couldn't
yeah,
do
I
that.
agree with that premise as well. Like, I think I used to spend a lot of time trying to perfectly craft texts as well, but then I realized you could just send whatever and it would be perfectly fine. And then I was like, why the fuck have I been thinking about this so much? Like, literally, I could just send the first thing that comes to mind. I think part of it was that in the past, I had such like great emotional responses, not great meaning, but great meaning like large, robust emotional responses that, like, I was afraid of being overwhelmed by the response that I would get and, like, not being able to navigate my own emotions. I feel like part of what I learned in therapy one of the first times was, like, A, how to self-regulate, but B, like, how to, like, deal with the consequences of like, deal with the emotional consequences of whatever I do. Like, if I send a text that's, like, really rude or something like that, and they, like, respond in a really bad way, or I send something, like, that I think is really great, and then I feel rejected or something. In the past, like, I wouldn't be able to handle that, and so that's why I would, like, spend so much time trying to craft something perfect because I was like, "I don't want to, like, experience that emotion and, like, be overwhelmed by that." Whereas now I'm like, "Okay, if they send something shitty, even if I do feel bad, like, I have the tools to navigate that." So I think that's helped me, like, chill out a little more and just more experience with dating where you realize, like, okay, nothing's ever that deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. I think a lot of the anxiety that we feel about like texting and responding and that sort of thing comes from like, if this doesn't go the way I want it to go, I won't be able to handle it. And that's something I need to like get better at myself. Like just realizing that, like, even if it doesn't go the way I planned or the way I want it to go, like, that doesn't mean that I won't get over it or that I won't be able to, like, live my life even if this, like, one thing isn't working out, you know? So,
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And that, like, if one text, like, shatters the relationship, then it wasn't, like,
yeah.
going to withstand anything anyway. And I think, like, in the past, I felt or in high school, I felt, like, pretty misunderstood. So it was also, like, I didn't wanna be misunderstood, so I would try to create the perfect text. One of my therapists told me back then, and I think it was, like, really accurate, that as long as something's in your head, you're, like, trying to maintain control over it. And so, like, sometimes when you're being really ruminative about something or you're like, "Oh, what if I change this? What if I change that?" You're, like, trying to control the experience because once it's out there, like, you're no longer in control of, like, how they respond, how you respond to their response, like, whatever, and so if you become more comfortable with, like, not being in control, then you also become more comfortable with that, but this is all my experience within dating. I don't understand why people are, like, bad texters with their friends. Like, I'm sure there's also, like, an underlying, like, psychological pathology, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah, I mean, from the bad textures I've talked to, I feel like it's sort of similar. It's like they just overthink it and they, like, don't know what to say, and then they just never say anything, and then too much
Mhm.
time passes, and they're like, "Oh my god, can't even respond at all now because it's taking me so long to respond." It's just dumb, though. I don't get it.
Yeah, I
But
actually had one friend recently who, like, wanted to apologize to me for something that was, like, super not like, I was completely okay with it, but, like, he was really stressed leading up to it, and so he, like, didn't respond to something else I said because he was, like, really or, like, he wasn't texting me because he, like, didn't wanna have to make that apology and, like, this, that, and the third, and I was like, "Oh my god, you shoulda just sent it." Like, I was completely fine with, like, the thing that he felt like he needed to apologize for, he didn't at all. I was like, "No worries." Like, so I feel like that is kind of yeah, an example of that maybe where it's like a friend isn't texting you, but it's because 'cause they're having some sort of internal turmoil that's not even necessary at all.
yeah, I mean, I think you're right actually though that I think a lot of people who either get anxiety about texting or are bad texters, I think it's because, like, of the lack of control that you feel, and I think a lot of the time those people are people that like to be in control, and sometimes people who get anxiety about texting become, like, compulsive texters, like maybe
Mhm.
you and me, but
Mhm.
other people who get anxiety about texting, I think they just handle it differently by, like, not texting or by, like, always being, like, the person who doesn't respond
Mhm.
because they don't like being, like, the last person to have said something because it feels more, like, out of control. Like, they're constantly trying to maintain control, so they're just, like, not giving other people that much. Like, they're, like,
Yeah.
withholding.
And some of it probably has to do with confidence too, because it's like I can operate under the assumption that like if I send someone a text and they don't respond, I'll often think that it has nothing to do with me. Whereas some people like will think that it and so like I'm fine with like double texting, for example. It's like I well, like I was saying earlier, like I'll just text them if I have something to say. Um Whereas, like, other people aren't because they maybe have taken it, like, more personally. Or, like, in the past, I remember I used to really be like, "Oh, why doesn't someone respond to, like, every aspect of the, like, different texts that I sent?" Like, I sent them 3 questions and they only responded to the last one or the first one or whatever, and I would get really mad about that. But now I'm like, I do that sometimes because it's like, I don't wanna respond to that. That's why I didn't respond. And I feel like I don't know. I think as you get a little bit more comfortable with who you are, maybe not confident, but just like comfortable with who you are, then like I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of the, or not a lot, but been seeing a couple of the things I used to care about when it comes to like texting etiquette become less and less of a thing.
Yeah, I feel like I have a tendency to take it personally when people don't respond or if they don't respond in a way that's, like, friendly.
I mean, sometimes it is personal, but
Yeah,
I don't think
but
always.
a lot of the time it's actually not, though.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like I have a tendency to be like, "Oh my god, I said something annoying," or "They thought that was weird," or like, um, "They don't like me, I'm bothering them." But it's like, usually that's not the case, I think. usually they're probably just not even thinking about it, which maybe is offensive in its own way, but
Mhm.
I don't know. So it can be hard. I don't know how to take it less personally. I think just, yeah, getting a life honestly is helpful.
Getting a life is super helpful with a lot of things, dude. With a lot of,
Yeah.
like it's helpful with overthinking, it's helpful with drinking. It's like, you just gotta be busy doing things you like with people you love, bro.
Yeah. Distract yourself, but that's what people say, but it's like not actually accurate. Like you shouldn't really be thinking of it as like distracting yourself. You should be thinking of it as like doing things you enjoy so you stop ruminating over something you can't control.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't think of it as distracting yourself. I remember this thing that Shallon Lester, influencer, said a while ago, which is you can't I love this is what she said. "I love men so much that I can't play hard to get. I just have to be hard to get because 'cause I'm busy doing things I like." And, like, I identify with that, but, like, kind of in the context that we're talking about too, where it's like, if I'm ruminating over something, like, I can't just not, like I need to, like, be busy doing something else, like having a life, you know? And I don't think yeah, trying to distract yourself or be like, "I'm gonna throw myself into work," like, I don't know, that's never worked for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you're busy with work, then you're busy with work.
I guess we kind of veered off a little bit from talking about media when it came to talking about texting, but, you know.
Well, texting is media, texting is technology. It's all connected.
Is it? Oh, okay. Shall we wrap?
Yes, I believe so.
Tune in next week.
Yes. In the meantime, have good experiences.